Hey everybody, welcome to More Please. Today I am giving you my take on the election, Aubrey O'Day and her tea spilling, and Erika Jayne split from her husband. Plus, we have Rita Baga and Scarlett Bobo from Canada's DragRace dropping in to talk all things drag. Join the kiki with us and join the conversation. Grab a mug because it's time for More Please. Happy Monday, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this More Please episode. And we're going to kick things off with quite an interesting week. Here's Tony's take. All right, for those of you who are not familiar, Tony's take is my take on all the latest hot topics. And of course, they were all decided on you. So first off, we have to give a rest in peace in a moment for Alex Trebek, who is the epitome of game show hosting. He passed away this weekend at the age of 80 due to pancreatic cancer. And he literally worked up until October 29th, still hosting Jeopardy. So our thoughts and prayers are with this amazing person who has kept us entertained for over 30 years. So rest in peace, my friend. Tragic news to hear about. I actually heard about it while I was on a walk with a friend, and my TMZ buzzer went off, and I couldn't believe it because I thought he was totally doing fine. So it's just a reminder, you all take care of yourselves and make sure you're visiting your doctor regularly. And just look, we're getting old, y'all. So we got to make sure we're on the up and up. So Kelly says, miss him already. Yes, for sure. We all do. And we all will feel the effects of it. So rest in peace, Mr. Alex Trebek. Now this week, I don't know about you all, but we have literally been on pins and needles about the election. And on Saturday morning, we woke up to some glorious news that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are president-elect and vice president-elect. I don't know about you all, but it was such an amazing feeling just to feel this weight come off our shoulders. I am excited for these two. I wish them nothing but the best because we all know that they have so much work ahead of them. But I do feel like both Joe and Kamala will do what needs to be done for this country, not just for a specific type of people, but for everyone. And the first thing is to really unite us. So congratulations to Joe and Kamala. And we are very excited to see what you do with our country and help us rebuild and help us get back to a better state. I think the best thing for us to do right now is just unite as a country and come back together and realize that, you know, no matter who's in office, they're going to do what's right for our country. So let's get it back together, y'all. Speaking of like election and politics and things like that, I don't know if y'all were on your Twitter or anything, but Miss Aubrey O'Day, former singer of Danity Kane, was spilling all the tea about her relationship with Don Jr. Now, for those who don't know, Aubrey and Don dated while like she was on The Apprentice like years ago. And according to her, she has signed no NDAs, so she has no problem spilling all the tea. Here's my thing. I feel like this. If it's like, I understand it's Don Jr., it's Trump, of course, if there's some tea, we, spill it and everything like that. But I just don't feel like you should spill your tea on your exes for everybody. Like, don't air out dirty laundry. Like, relationships should be like y'all's, like no one should be involved in it. No one should know the tea. Things shouldn't be spilled. You shouldn't be having like candid conversations with Twitter user 85678 about what's going or what happened between y'all. Like, I love that Aubrey is open, but it's kind of like, girl, sometimes you just got to keep things to yourself. So, but slide in people's DM and like let them know that way, but just don't put it all out. But I bet Don is probably sitting at home wishing that he had signed an NDA because apparently he didn't know Aubrey, and Aubrey doesn't mind spilling the tea and does not feel any shame. So if you guys want all the tea on that, go to Aubrey's Twitter because she literally lists all the tea. Speaking of couples, I was very shocked to hear that Erika Jayne and her husband, Tom Girardi, are filing for divorce. On election night, which was smart of Erika, on election night, she just dropped the tea like, I filed for divorce from Tom. So that way, none of us would even question, ask, or anything, because we weren't worried about this. We weren't worried about this at all. We were worried about the election. We was worried about the votes coming in and everything like that. And Erika said, I'm gonna tell y'all, and then I'm gonna exit stage left because I know y'all are not gonna be worried about this because y'all are worried about other things. But my thing is this. They always seemed like a very tight couple, right? They were always very communicative. Like she was very upfront at answering questions about the age difference and that they were a tight-knit couple and everything like that. And to hear that she filed for divorce, it was a shock because it started making me wonder, there's so many of these housewives who are part of the Real Housewives franchise, that relationships are on the rocks. And I'm starting to wonder if it's because their husbands are not used to their rise in fame. Even though Erika Jayne was Erika Jayne before she was on Real Housewives, for some reason, I feel like Tom looked at that as like, oh, that's cute, you have a hobby. But like your first priority is being a wife. And now that, you know, she's more than just Erika Jayne, she's, you know, Roxy on Broadway in Chicago. She's doing endorsement deals. She's writing books. She's doing more shows and things like that. It's kind of like, do you wonder if he had that moment of like, this isn't what I signed up for. I signed up for you to be home. Like, it's okay for you to do that, but now it's starting to be too much. Listen, I'm not someone that wants to be all up in anybody else's relationship. Your relationship is your relationship, but it just makes me wonder if these men cannot handle the popularity that that's happening with their wives. Not a sugar daddy up for grabs. I cannot. Listen, y'all, if you ever want to hear my take on what's going on in the latest in Hot Topics, y'all send me a DM, let me know, and you just might hear my take right here on More Please, all right? So that has been this week's Tony's Take, but hey, stick around because we have Scarlett Bobo and Rita Baga to talk all things Canada's Drag Race. Stay tuned, we have More Please.
Wow, I just started my first talk show with an apology. I'm so Canadian. Okay, it's very hard for me not to apologize for that apology. Hi, this is Hump Day with Hampshire. I'm Emily Hampshire. This is my first virtual talk show. It's my first anything talk show.
It started as a cough or maybe a sneeze. Now here we are in quarantine. And if you act, dance, play or sing, chances are you're on the couch not doing a thing. So watch Hump Day with Hampshire. Have some fun before we retire. Take a little break from the quagmire. It's Hump Day with Hampshire.
And if anyone's tuning in right now, they're like, this is the weirdest show I've ever seen.
Literally, we're going to think that they're on some psychotropic Friends.
All right, y'all, hopefully you went and filled up your mugs again because now it's time to have a kiki. Joining me for today's Kiki is, you know, these fabulous entertainers from the first season of Canada's Drag Race. Please help me welcome Rita Baga and Scarlett Bobo. Oh,
Ooh.
hi.
Ooh.
Hello. Come on. Category is drag, realness, the face, the body, everything.
Plastic.
How are you all?
The filler. Good. How are you?
All right. So
Bonjour.
first of all, like, I want to congratulate you all because, like, Canada's Drag Race to me was everything. Like, y'all completely slayed, like, right off the gate. Because if anyone is a Drag Race fan, like I am, when we got Drag Race season 1, like, it was very interesting because they were still trying to figure out, like, the nooks and crannies of the show and everything like that. But I feel like Canada's Drag Race was like, we know what to do, and like, y'all came out full force and throttle. So kudos to y'all. Yes, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For you, were you fans of Drag Race before getting the call for Canada's Drag Race?
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like most drag queens are pretty big fans of the show.
No, I've never heard of that show, but I said, oh, why not? I should try. You know, it looks fun.
This new pilot project.
Rita pulled the Mariah Carey, like, Drag Race. I don't know her.
I don't know her.
Sure, I have time. I guess so.
Who from Drag Race did you all like enjoy? Who were some of your favorite queens from Drag Race?
I've always loved Sasha Velour. She's always been like a really cool one for me. Sasha Velour is fantastic. Chad Michaels, Bob the Drag Queen, Monet, Cracker. Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah. Rita, how about you?
Yeah, I would say pretty much the same names, but I will add Nina Flowers as well. She's so unique. And she's the reason why I started to be more involved in all the process and take it more seriously.
Oh, yeah. Nina Flowers was everything. Like, when she hit the scene in season 1, we were like, who is this bitch?
Yeah.
For
talent.
Right? Team talent.
Team talent.
For all to like be a part of this, you know, franchise, like, what does it mean to you all to now be a part of like what many of us consider very legendary queens? Like, what does that mean for you all?
I think that we all feel like it's our special day now, so it's pretty
our
surreal.
special day.
It's our special day. It's pretty surreal, and you know, just having watched the show over the years and being part of this royalty, I would say it's unbelievable, and we have so many opportunities now. It's just amazing to be, you know, to feel that sense of belonging in this family as well. So
yeah,
it's fun, you know.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Just knowing that what we were able to achieve on the show, like we made some good TV, girl, and you know, being in the inaugural first season of Canada's Drag Race, like, you know, like we're kind of setting that bar. And I think it's just really special. I think it was really special too, like what Rita's saying about being in the family. Like after the show aired, all these Drag Race girls were starting to message me, like from the States, and they're like, welcome to the family, hey sis, like you're amazing on the show. And it was kind of like we were just entered into like a new like drag house, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's really cool. And we, you know, I think I was a little worried about, I hope people don't think it's like a separate thing and like they don't like block us as like the Canadian girls. Yeah. But everybody has been really awesome, and everyone's been like kind of like really accepting of the show, and people love to call the show chaotic, which it was very chaotic in the best way.
What did you learn about yourself during the show? Because I feel like you can go in knowing who you are as a performer, but then you go through this whole experience and you come out like anew. So like, what did you learn about yourself, you know, during either something that you learned during taping or even like once the show was airing and you were watching everything back? Like, Was there anything that you learned about yourself that you didn't know or realize before?
I think I learned how to like really like I know it sounds so cheesy, but I really learned how to like love myself like all over again, because you know you feel very stripped down when you're on the show, and like and you kind of have to like put away all of your egos and set aside everything, because when you walk into that room you think, oh, I am the one, honey, I am like going to take this, it's mine, and then you get in there and you're like, whoa, this is like not what I was expecting, and it's very intense.
Yeah.
And so I definitely learned how to really like slow down, love myself, see myself like for who I was and the talent that I brought. And I learned how to be patient, I think. And I learned how to put on a really fast face.
True. I would say that the thing that I learned the most about myself is that I have to trust my inner instinct, because every time something did not go the way I wanted to go, it's just because I wasn't listening to that inner voice.
Mhm.
And so I think just watching back the show, it put me back to these places where I was just confused. Oh, should I go this way or that way? And I
Yeah.
think I already knew the answer, but I wasn't listening. So now I'm trying to listen to my inner voice more.
Yes, you know what? We always learn to like trust our gut, and sometimes in some situations we're like, "But are you sure, gut? Like, are you sure? Like that's what we're supposed to do?" So it's good. It's always a good lesson to remember to like go with your first instinct and trust your gut, because that's what you're supposed to do. I just saw a question pop up from Armadillo, who asked, "How cold was it on set? Because you all really wrapped up during the show."
We're still cold. It's been a year. Can you imagine?
Let's just say it was a very Canadian show. It was pretty cold, especially like us like wearing like skimpy little costumes, and you know it was yeah, it was pretty fucking cold.
Yep. And I'm from Quebec. I'm used to that kind of weather. I can say.
I know. So when she's complaining that it's cold, you know it's cold.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know,
It is. I'm still trying to recover from, that weather. It's been a year already.
one of the things that I noticed right away, and I don't know if you all knew ahead of time or expected this, but many fans of the U.S. version obviously noticed like a bit of the difference from RuPaul's Drag Race and Canada's Drag Race. Did you all think that it would be exactly the same as like what we're used to here, or did you kind of know that the format was not going to have like a head judge like Rue, and that like the guest judge would be more the host like during the main show? Like how did you guys feel about the format used for Canada's Drag Race versus the US version?
Well, they said it right away that Rue wasn't going to host the show, so we knew about that. But then I don't want to speak for the rest of the group, but I think that most of us were kind of expecting the unexpected, as it was the first season. So we know we will be the one setting the bar and having to face all these things that we didn't know how they're going to be. So I
Yeah.
think it was an experience just trying to manage everything as we didn't have any reference. So
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
I agree with Rita. Rita like was like Rain Man on set. Rita had everything written down in her notebook. She was like just like jotting notes down all the time. And I would always go be like, what are you figuring out? Like, because I want to know the tea. Like, because we honestly it was I thought it was a cool format. I thought it was a fresh format.
Yeah.
Having like the three opinions from like the three guest judges that are kind of making one final decision. And I did enjoy watching back the show, seeing the guest judge be the host. I thought that was really fierce. I thought it was a nice fresh twist on like something that we're so used to that we continue to see all the time. But it was definitely expect the unexpected. They announced Brooklyn. We knew like they were going to be the judges, but then once we kind of saw it all come together.
Mhm.
We're like, okay, so like this is how it's gonna be, and it was definitely different. But then it's all like it's not like we've been on the US version, right? So it's kind of like that's all we do.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
thought it was a nice, fresh take on like on the typical Drag Race format.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a good take because you kind of have like your own entity, so
Yeah.
every Drag Race franchise doesn't necessarily have to be like each one. Like we can tune in and know that like it's its own little entity. So I enjoyed that, and it definitely gave a fresh take and
Mhm.
through different eyes instead of feeling like, oh, we know what to expect. We know like how this is going to play out and what they do here and who talks here and all that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the judges, you had Brooklyn and oh my gosh, and Stacy and
JVC.
yes. For you all, like one of the biggest things were like everyone felt like the judges were so harsh on you all. Did you in those moments as you were being critiqued felt like you were being judged very harshly, or did you take it and just say like I'm gonna apply it and do what I can so that I can end up with the crown? Like how did you all receive the judges' critiques, and were they as harsh as we thought?
Well, I never got really any bad critique at all. So like I don't know. I think personally, I think people were looking at it like, okay, like are the Canadian girls like gonna get it easier or whatnot? And so I think like, the judges had a job to do, and their job was to judge us and to like push us to do better in general, right? And it's also their first time as judges. They're the first ever Canadian judges. So I feel like they had a pressure on themselves in their own right to like be good judges.
Yeah.
And and we knew what was going on. So when they were a little bit too harsh, we were like, ouch, but then like brush it off. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
this is like the pageant of all pageants, honey. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get judged, so you kind of just have to, I don't know, brush it off. What about you? I don't know. I don't even know if I know Rita's answer to this. Usually I know most of Rita's answers.
Yeah, I would say that I was like I had a good mindset. Let's say that I was prepared to hear the worst and the best. So I don't think it was that harsh. Watching back the OG version, all the seasons and everything, I think some of the comments were very harsh, and we didn't get to that point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Like some Santina Rice comments are like, he
Yeah.
could be like real hard.
Michelle has some
Yeah, she's got
terrible
some
moments as
moments.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she filters herself a bit after a couple of seasons. But no, I don't think it was that harsh. I think we were all ready, but there's the editing part. Nothing has been added or removed. It's just the way you see it on TV. We could have spent like an hour just standing there, hearing all the critiques, and they're only gonna keep 5 minutes, so they don't know the whole story. But we do, and I don't think it was that harsh.
Because I personally, I felt really bad at the backlash that Jeffrey got, because I felt like the Drag Race fandom was like coming for him, and I'm like, y'all, he's just trying to do a job. He's just trying to critique. He's just trying to
I know that really upset me, because like what you never saw with Jeffrey was like when the cameras would go off, he'd be like, oh my God, like you guys still need to be so proud of yourselves. Like you're on the first season. Like, he would be like really good at pep talks. And I thought he was super lovely. And it sucks because like, but the thing is like, if they're not being shady to us, then people are going to be like, oh, well, those judges are so easy on the queens. But then if they're too shady, they're coming for the judges. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's like, we want to make good TV too. I thought the backlash for him was very unnecessary.
Yeah.
We just like Rita said, I went in thinking the best and the absolute worst. You know what I mean? Like you can't go in there being like, I'm perfect. No, like if you read me, like I'm going to be so mad, if you fuck up, you fuck up. So I think definitely.
Well, it did not work out.
Overreacted.
wasn't the right attitude. We saw that.
Get it, Rita, get it.
Get it?
But it was, yeah. I mean, I feel what you guys are saying, because like I've met Jeffrey a few times, and I know what a huge fan of Drag Race he is. So I can only imagine how elated he was to, like, now have, Canada's version and be a part of it and everything like that. And so I'm glad that you all shedded light on that. So hopefully people who are watching will know that he's not just some, bitchy queen that was trying to like read y'all, but he really did, care for you all and wanted to see you all.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. We had a question earlier from Sarah Johnson, who asked, what inspired you all to become queens? Because the art of drag is like, it's one of those things, like you have to be in it or not. Like you can't play in it. Like if you're gonna go full force and throttle, like you got to go for it. So what inspired you all to become the elegant queens that you are?
Huh. I guess like inspired me to be a drag queen. Like, I saw this one queen, Robin DeCradle, perform in Ottawa, and I just saw her like do Janet Jackson and completely like pop off, and I was like, whoa, look at that. Like, look at the attention that she's getting, and look at how like she's commanding this audience in the stage. And so that really, like, I was like, I want that too. But then like what inspires like my drag is like, I don't know, pop culture, Pink. I love anything Pink. If anybody knows me, you know that I'm like Pink's #1 fan. Hi, if you're watching.
You never know.
Oh my god, imagine. I would just die. Yeah, I just like music, art, fashion,
Yeah.
The typical ones, I guess.
I would say that it took me a while to be interested to do drag in general, because I had so many drag friends, and I was like, oh, this is not for me. I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a show for a friend's birthday, and it started that day. Right away, I fell in love with that art form. And then since 14 years, I'm inspired every day by something new. And I think we have that in common. Scarlett and I, we try to seek inspiration everywhere, and be an inspiration to the other as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, these new queens, like new queens, kings, AFAB performers, like this new generation of queer artists and queer performers, I think are so inspiring. It's like they're just so creative, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. And so I think like this new generation of queer artists are very, very, very inspiring.
Yes. Now, Rita, since the show, have your DMs been flooded with queens wanting to be a part of the Baga family?
Oh my God!
Do you have more children to adopt, Rita?
Yeah, but the shop has been closed. We're in lockdown down there, so nothing's happening. But it's very funny because almost like 2 to 3 times a month, I receive messages. Oh, can I be your drag daughter? Can I be your drag son? And I'm always like, I said it on the show. It's over.
No more.
I have enough. No more. No more.
Like I feel like there could be an entire season of just like the Baga kids, like just compete until like one ends up victorious. Just
it should be a late night show, because some of my girls are very trash. Just so you know.
It's almost kind of like with the US version, there's so many Davenports. Like you have Kennedy Davenport.
Oh my god, yeah, that's bad guy for Canada.
There should be, I'm gonna put this out there. There should be like a family battle royale where it's like the Davenports versus the Bagas, and then find like some other family and like just make a whole season out of it.
Gag. Battle royale. Fight to the death.
Fight to the death.
Yes.
Number of queens enter, 1 queen leaves.
Just want Starzy to come on the show and say, "Mother out." Yes. That's my favorite thing ever.
Or, do you want to fight? Do you want to fight?
You want to fight?
Do you want to fight?
So with this, like your season of started airing during like this whole pandemic and everything like that. For you all, when this pandemic hit and you knew that this show was like going to come out, what were you hoping for, like, once the season aired? Because what we've seen is that most people go on to like tour and like, do like different shows in different countries and cities and things like that, movies, TV shows, and all that. What were you hoping to gain for your drag careers once your season aired?
I was hoping to gain all of that, bitch.
Yeah. All of the
I want
above.
to go tour. I want to
Check,
go out.
check,
I want to go
check.
tour. I want to go travel. I want to be in a movie. Like, where's my Oscar?
Oh
Yeah,
God.
definitely.
Illusion.
Oh, sure, Mal. Oh, wow.
He's coming for my gig. This one.
Wow.
I'm coming for yours.
Oh no, I didn't even have a drink on me. Oh, jeez, what's wrong with me? Yeah, definitely that. Like, I think it definitely, for a split second, I think I saw all my dreams kind of fly out the window, and I was like, oh, what now? But you know what? We're queens and performers, and queer people are really resilient. So we're like, you're gonna watch us online, and then we're gonna all make music videos, and you're still gonna love us. So it was kind of just like, all right, like sink or swim, you know what I mean? And I think Rita and I were really lucky to be able to go on that Drive and Drag tour. We got to see a lot of our sisters, and we got to feel some sort of normalcy, I guess, like from what we're used to.
Yeah.
I never thought I would love cars honking at me, but
Like a good honk.
right? Like I was like getting catcalled like all day, every day, just like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? But yeah, so I'm and I think the tours are starting up in the new year, but it's just going to be a different type of show. Like I always said, like, I just want to be a rock star. Like I want to crowd surf and like just so I could get wild.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's going to be more like seated and separate shows, and so I think it's just going to have to, for now, just learn this new normal and try to make the best of it, really.
Yeah. What about you, Rita? What were you hoping for post?
Well, I'm kind of lucky because I'm working. I'm doing different gigs, not necessarily just shows. So it helps. But I think all this situation is just making us wait. And all of this will be postponed. And eventually we will have access to what we have dreamed of for so long, an international tour and many opportunities like this. So for now, it's just, I think it's very particular because we so many different channels were out of stock, out of TV shows. So they bought the show. We've been played in more than 160 countries, I think, because of the pandemic. So there's so many people who have watched the show and seen what we can do. I think everything is just temporary. And it's going to happen. So I keep the faith.
Yeah. Rita, were you just, I feel like I just saw something. You're in a musical called Rosalie. Is that right?
Yes. So it's going to air, I think the first step is going to be on YouTube and then on TV. And it's starting at the end of November.
At the end of November. And what can you tell us a little about that and like what's your role? And
I'm playing a has-been character, so yeah. My character is an old lady who used to be a singer. So I'm playing that role into a different time of her life. So when she was younger, and then when she gets old and grumpy, just like me.
I'm like, if I could have ever written down a character, I'm like, that character you just described is you to a T. I'm like, girl, you don't need to play that character. You are that character, Annie. Slam it.
I'll
Man, we la la.
Well, but before I let you all go, if there was or if they will be, and hopefully there will be a season 2 of Canada's Drag Race, who would you all like to see appear on the show? Some drag queens that we may not be familiar with in Canada that you're like, you all should definitely pay attention to this person and they should definitely be on the next season.
I think Brooklyn Heights should compete and win for once. Yeah.
The shade.
That's cheap. Every time I have an opportunity, I just keep throwing her name right there. Yep. No, there's so many talent here in Canada. I would like to see some West Coast representation, people from the North as well, and more francophone on the table. That's for sure. C'est sûr, Lala.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like, I'm a Toronto girl at heart, so those queens like Ivory Towers, Helena Poison, Divine Darling, Jada Hudson, like that is just the iconic Toronto staples. But I just moved to the West Coast, and the West Coast has some wildly fierce talent.
Yeah.
And I want to see some East Coast girls because all my family's from like Halifax, Nova Scotia. I want to see those like Newfie drag queens get on the show. Like they would be funny.
Yes.
Oh yeah, get some Newfie girls on there.
Well, I'm hoping that like there is a season 2 of Canada's Drag Race, and I do hope that like that they pull you guys in sometimes, because it's always good to see like the previous girls come on like the new season to be a part of a challenge or something like that. So
I would definitely come back and go out to the workroom again. That'd be so fun. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for Rita's like.
we gotta show them how it's done, baby.
Well, thank y'all for coming in and stopping and having a kiki with me, and I wish you all continued success. I have seen firsthand what the Drag Race franchise and family can do for one's career, and I just wish all that upon you. So continue success and blessings. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's so good talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Hey, you guys don't go anywhere. We have more Please coming up right after this.
Greetings from Hollywood, California. I'm here at the world famous Magic Castle, a 56-year-old private members-only magic club that's usually only open to exclusive invitations and members only. But since the club's closure in March of the pandemic year, we have had our Dine and Delight program, which is actually open to the public. It's our to-go cuisine from our executive chef, Alex Arrieta. Delicious 4-star cuisine available at affordable prices to anyone in the LA area every Wednesday through Sunday night. All you have to do is go to togo.magiccastle.com, place your order by 4 p.m. the day before, and then come by on your pickup day and pick up your delicious cuisine. And not only that, we've got cocktails, beer, wine, our special beverages like the Neil Patrick Harris Old Fashioned. We've got it all here for people to experience a little bit of magic during these crazy times. It's called Dine and Delight, togo.magiccastle.com. Safe pickup from the Magic Castle directly into your vehicle at affordable prices. Bring the magic home.
Your mugs must be a little empty, but guess what? I got a little bit more. So in case you guys haven't heard about this story, there is a new sheriff in Hamilton County, Ohio, Charmaine McGuffey, who recently was elected the new sheriff, won against her ex-boss, who allegedly fired her and demoted her because of her sexual orientation. Let me tell you, if that doesn't show a lesson when good wins over evil, I don't know what does. So Charmaine, congratulations to you and kudos to you. All right, y'all, that is it for another episode of More Please. Tune in next week where I will introduce you guys to some quarantine content creators. Thank you so much for joining me. And remember, there's always more please.